So along this line of just kind of going back to disease modification versus symptom management, the reason I bring that up is because as you start any new treatment, I want you to have reasonable expectations. Let's take Azilect, for example. The generic name is Rasagiline. This is a FDA-approved medication that does improve motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease, but very, very little. It helps, but it doesn't help much. Most of the time when physicians prescribe Rasagiline, it is because it will hopefully help your levodopa last a little bit longer, work a little bit better. And honestly, most of the reason that we give it is not because it really does much for your symptoms, but because there have been 2 published studies that suggest that people who take Rasagiline have a slightly slower rate of progression. And so for a lot of people, if your insurance covers the pill, you don't have any side effects from it, we don't expect this huge, robust improvement. And we're giving it to you because we're actually hoping that it might help the slope of the disease. For things like dopamine agonists or levodopa, the only reason we give you dopaminergic medications is because we want to treat the symptoms. If you start levodopa and you're a month, 2 months, 3 months into your levodopa prescription or any other of the dopamine agonists and you don't feel better, you take it the way the physician instructed and your motor symptoms are not any better, you do need to go back to your doctor. You are not taking it because we think it's going to help you in the long run. The only reason for you to be taking dopaminergic medications is because they treat your symptoms in real time. Within a month, most people are feeling what they're going to feel. It doesn't continue to get better after that. So if you've been on levodopa for a month and you don't feel better, go back to your doc and the next step is usually we raise the dose. Let's see if we double the dose. Maybe you just weren't on high enough of a dose. If you do another month now at a higher dose and you're still not feeling better, we do question the diagnosis. And there's no reason that I can think of why anybody with a diagnosis of Parkinsonism who does not feel better on levodopa should stay on the medication. And I think most of your physicians would agree with that and work with you to figure out where to go from there. It sometimes happens that the improvements are sneaky, they're insidious. And so people will say, oh no, I don't feel any better on it. I've been on it for 2 months. I did everything you say. I take it at the time you tell me to take it. I just don't feel better. And then the physician will say, okay, let's take you off. And once you've been off for a week or 2, you realize, ooh, maybe I was feeling better. I forgot. I didn't even realize that it's easier to roll over in bed. When I stand up, I don't need the arms to push me up. It was helping more than I realized after all. And so that happens sometimes too. So there can be a couple steps in terms of figuring out if you get relief or not from the dopaminergic medications, but it shouldn't be that difficult. And for the vast majority of people, honestly, when they start the dopamine replacement therapies, within days of starting the medication, they already start feeling notably better. So when I talk about reasonable expectations, whether this is your neurologist prescribing dopaminergic therapies, whether this is your naturopathic physician prescribing fish oil, I want you to have a conversation with that provider about, are you giving this to me because you expect it to help my symptoms, or are you giving this to me because you believe it's going to slow my progression? And depending on that answer, have some mechanism to check back in a month or 3 months or a year and evaluate, am I wasting my time and money, or does this seem to be working?